Good afternoon. Good evening. And welcome to the GMAE show. Today is September 26th, 2022, 9:08 a.m. my local time. If you're joining us in the Asia Pacific region, it may be tomorrow already, September 27, 2022. Your time, just after midnight in there. How you doing? How's everybody doing? Seems like I had a little echo going on. I fixed that just now. a little echo. What's up, chat? How have you been? How are things? You ready to play in the Edge of the Abyss today? We got 30 people in the instance I'm in right now already, hanging out in the metaverse as we are in the middle of Alpha Season 3. A little over 30 days of new content still to come in Alpha Season 3, and still giving away season passes, chat. 5 days a week, 9 a.m. my local time. Now, new time for the GMAE show based on a couple of tests we did last week at different times, different zones. This is the one where there are most people. Most of you seem to have this time available to you. How the heck are you, chat? We'll see what happens here. Caveat, first thing to note, this is the Sandbox Game Alpha Season 3, meaning that during the duration of this alpha, features, softwares, chat clients, all sorts of things may change. Rules, that sort of thing, as we continue to adjust and adapt based on your feedback here in this alpha. This Alpha Season 3 is unique in that, for the first time ever, there is a leaderboard with a small pool of 1.5 million sand available to the total 10,000 top players in these experiences. During the duration of this alpha, of course, as I mentioned just a little bit ago, the rules are a little malleable. The games are a little malleable. The tweaking, the adjusting, the changing needs to be done to help us prepare for each and every successive season. Wow, it's a lot of S's. So that we can make sure that we have a high quality product when we get up to that full release. Everything that happens at this point, we are learning, taking your feedback, adapting, and adjusting with this content. So bear with us. If there is a trait, a feature, a thing that you see that you don't like, let us know, because we can make adjustments to those things over the coming months, but may not be able to make those during this alpha necessarily. We'll see what happens, but I'm inside the Edge of the Abyss experience. This is an experience that released in Alpha Season number 2, came back for Alpha Season number 3. You guys seem to like it a lot then. We'll see how you like it now. In the meantime, if you are a player and you're thinking to yourself, wow, I really like this level, or you're thinking to yourself, I don't like this level and I can do better, feel free. You can always, right there at sandbox.game, download the Game Maker software and the asset creation software, VoxEdit, for free at sandbox.game, so you can make experiences just like the one we are about to play. This experience plays out on a 1x1, meaning that it is the smallest possible game / experience that you can have in the Sandbox game. All right, so there's a lot of space, and you'll notice that as we go through the Edge of the Abyss that it is hugely vertical and leverages almost every square inch that you can use inside the experience. All right, Chorizo Trading asks a question just like you can during this show, and we will answer those live over on twitch.tv. They're asking, I'm still in version 0.7.4. How do I update? So, there may be a hot fix. I'm not sure if it's already released or if I'm just seeing emails about how it's about to release, but the 0.7.5 hot fix that would fix an issue that we had in the previous version. We released 0.7.5 a couple of days back, and users were reporting some hitching, some glitching. Maybe you were running around and it kind of like pauses for you. This is not always the case, but you can see on my screen here, I still have that old version. So I may experience some technical difficulties as that little bug got patched out, and it was recommended for all users to go backwards to 0.7.4 if they could at that time. But if there's a 0.7.5 update, then it will be available on the website at sandbox.game. So you can check it out there, or wait for some announcements over in our Discord. Our ambassadors keep up with the beat on the street, so they'll be able to tell you when a new version releases, if that happens. All right, there we go. Rico Tanati. I don't know why that one got me for whatever reason. I was reading Andy, you know what I mean? Version 0.7.5, bad for jump. Agreed with that, and that is where we issue those hot fixes. So we put out the update to 7.5. We'll call it 0.7.5 is the actual time there. And we put out the last update with that, as I mentioned. We noticed, of course, that it did a little bit of lag, right? But we put it out on, I think it was Friday, right? And so, you expect to be able to allow people to rest easy over the weekend. And so they were chilling. And we'll be back with that. All right. RVS TV asking, we understand what you're saying, but when are the times obtained thanks to this bug? And that's an interesting one, because if you're reporting certain times and there was issues with that, we have an option to possibly, and this may not happen, but we have an option to roll back certain times that are clearly and overtly inaccurate, right? So you'll have some experiences or some quests where it is possible to get really low times. And this is based on the way that a developer has designed the actual experience, right? So I'm thinking of one that I won't name necessarily, but this happens a couple different times so far in the alpha, where the quest is go pick up these items, right? That's the whole quest. That's it. But if you don't speak to the quest giver before, and the items are spawned in the world, and there is a way as a dev where as a dev you could choose to not do this, but as a dev you could also choose to do this, right? And then it comes down to gamer knowledge. What do you know as a gamer about the mechanics? But the objects existed in the world, so you could go around, you could pick up all the objects, like a full set of armor or something like that, come back to the quest giver before they've given you that quest and say, talk to them. They'll say, go pick up the armor. You already have all of it. Quest done. You get it done in 0.02 seconds or something crazy fast looking like that, right? And so while you are playing and you are going for those leaderboard scores, there are going to be opportunities for you to find things like that, which are not exploits so much as game knowledge and you understanding how the game maker client would build up a quest, right? As devs, those devs who are creating inside this alpha, some of them are internal, some are in-house sandbox people, right? Some are external, some are, partners, right? And so they'll build these experiences, and the internals and the externals are going to build things differently. They're going to build things using the same tools, of course, but they are definitely going to have different styles, different preferences, right? And that's the nature of kind of a decentralized space like we have. Another note that I've seen so far in this alpha, right, and this is something that I would consider to be good for alpha season 4, is that we've seen some developers issue updates. They'll see something go out, right, something that you maybe played, and they'll be like, oh, they shouldn't be able to jump over that, so I'm going to patch it right now, right? And so for me, I would recommend to developers building in alpha season 4, best practice is that you do not issue an update during the season. So how does that juxtapose? How does that compare as we get into playing for a multi-month period, right? A multi-month alpha. Does a dev not issue an update for multiple months? Well, again, the nature of decentralization is it is always in their control. So we could let them know best practice would be based on the community feedback to do this, and then it is their option, just like it is their option in the way that they design a level. They will or they will not, right? And it is not, due to the nature of decentralization, it's not super appropriate for us to come through and be like, you can't do that. You can't, you know what I mean? Like, because they're their own people, they're designing their own experiences. We're going to play some of those here. All right. I got some questions coming in here. How many more days of Alpha Season 3 says the Crypto Reaper? All right. The Crypto Reaper, you can check it out right here, sandbox.game. On the play section, you can see on the left side, the season ends in 35 days, 20 hours, and some change. So about 36 days till the end of the season right now. All right. Rico Tenere asking over on youtube.com, do you think there will be a rollback on the leaderboard? I'm not totally sure, right? Because there's two different schools of thought. There are, do you take away that person who's dedicated to being there day one, day zero, all the updates, doing all the things, working through the troubles that there are, right? So there's that side, right, where that person was there when that update happened. And to a certain respect, they might deserve to be rewarded for just being there and working through the stuff and sending in the feedback and getting this product fixed and making sure that as we get into Alpha Season 4 and 5 or what have you, wherever the future goes, right? Version 0.75, 0.8, 0.9, as we're going through these different steps, they're sort of being rewarded for their dedication to the craft that is their speedrunning / breaking the game, right? When we are on this live stream regularly, when there's not an alpha, the intention of this live stream is always to play the games that you as community developers are making. And we play your games and we break those games. That's what I like to say all the time, right? We'll break your game. So I go through your game and I find the thing where you built up this, I'm thinking of King of Crypto in the chat specifically. They were building a fantastic experience, and 3, 4, 5 different times kind of in a row over many months as they had been building this experience, they said to me, play this on the live. I want to see what you think now that I made these changes. And literally every time it was, I could talk to that guy, but I'm going to go left. And I totally ignored the way that the game was designed and the quest was designed. And I beat it while skipping most of it or something like that, right? And I remember King of Crypto being like, nobody's done that before, right? There was, by the 3rd or 4th update to that game, on the right side, there was a quest giver that could kind of say like, you've already done section 1, so we're going to teleport you to section 2, and you could start with those quests, because there were so many quests on this experience, and I liked that a lot. Not everybody does, but I liked that a lot. So I ignored that quest giver, and I literally just went around the tower that they were in, jumped on that tower, and jumped over a wall. And King of Crypto was like, why, how did you do that? What are you doing? Like, where are you going? And again, skipped an hour worth of quest content just by jumping over this one wall. And it was like, those are the ways that those people who are doing that, those speedrunners who are doing that, are helping developers in that way. They're helping not only from the client side for us, right? But they're helping from the developers, the other side. When you think, like, as a developer, you're going, if I put an invisible wall here, I'm going to be good. And then they jump on a tree and they jump on a cloud and they jump over your invisible wall. And you're like, whoa, okay, got to redesign, got to rethink the way we work, right? So to a certain extent, it makes sense not to wipe those times if you think of it like those people are being rewarded for helping playtest, which is the nature of any alpha play. You know, like, regardless of what the game is, what the experience is, what the platform is, wherever you are, typically people get rewarded for playing in alphas or betas in a certain way or another. And I think that that's one aspect. Now, for those of you who, you know, you see those high scores and you think like those are unattainable, unachievable, essentially just getting the EP, which is the quest points rewards, can, it seems to me, get you into that top 10,000 right now. So you're getting some sort of reward in that regard. Then on the other side, you have your, if that doesn't do that, right? If there aren't that many, or there are far more people, right, who are willing to do all the quests, then you have your tickets that you are getting to have a chance to win an Alpha Season 3 pass. And those people who win that pass, right now, thanks to the community already getting the 100% staking reward, the people who have the pass will get 500 sand for being level 5. You get to level 5 on that little pass section at the top in the reward section just by playing the quest, right? So you have that reward. Then, if you own assets in the Sandbox game, right, like the ones that we give away on this show, specific assets that are listed, then those also have a reward track. That's a guaranteed reward track, so you don't need to be in a high scores list. Landowners, you don't have to be in a high scores list. People who own avatars of any of the collections don't have to be in a high scores list, right? So we have lots of consistent high-level rewards. What's up, you True? I really like that avatar. It looks cool. All right, let's see here. Rocky Praxi says, I didn't make any chat dialogue bug, and I'm still in the top 1,000. All right. So I got an email 2 weeks with when the season pass real email. I've already checked, but nothing happened. I waited 2 weeks. I asked in Discord. Sandbox tells me it happens because the ETH merge. How? Is it okay? Okay, excuse me. Rahutchana, over on YouTube, this is your question. It is okay, actually. So distribution of those passes doesn't really have to go out until the day of the raffle, right? That I'm not in charge of distribution, to be clear, so I can't directly speak to this except to say that there have been times in the past, like I'm thinking of like Alpha Season 2, especially the very first week that we had launched, where we didn't do the distribution on any one given day, things like that. Those passes, if you are, if you've been confirmed, then you're already added to what is known in the industry as a whitelist, which is an approval list. So that approval list would be you getting that added so that you can click the claim button when it is available, right? Due to the nature of just all of the work that we are doing, right? There's over 300 people who work at the Sandbox game, but any one of us may have quite a lot to do in this alpha at any given time, right? I'm thinking like myself directly, as soon as I turn off this stream, I'm going to go back to playtesting the experiences that aren't yet released, those that are coming up in the next 35 days. And at the same time, doing a review on all of the Game Jam experiences that were submitted for the Tower Game Jam. And a game jam is where users like you are asked to make a game, and then the top 10 games get rewarded with a large amount of sand tokens. So maybe that's something you might be interested in. But the ETH merge, we were cautious about that, intentionally so. Didn't release new content on the marketplace, didn't release, obviously, new lands. We haven't done that in a little while, but because we're moving that to the Polygon network for the next run. But the ETH merge represented potential for small glitches. So we're spending this time retesting all of our smart contracts and ensuring that those things function as expected, all of them up and down. And that doesn't mean one test and go like, oh, okay, it worked, right? You want to test things multiple times fairly rigorously to make sure that, you at least as much as you can to make sure that you don't have little issues pop up in those when you're trying to do a sale. If somebody says, I bought this thing and it didn't get sent to me, things like that. We don't want that claim contract for you. We would not want you to try to claim that and then it doesn't work, right? So we want to make sure that it works for you before we send those things out, and that can take some time to make sure that it's done right. All right. Will there be a deadline for KYC? Leaderboard could be heavily botted before the end. Chorizo Trading, users cannot win on the leaderboard without KYC. Right now, when I send out forms on this show, I typically ask, have you KYC'd? Are you going to KYC? That sort of thing in the form. And those people who have not KYC'd simply are ineligible to win, right? And even if somebody on my form said they were KYC'd and they end up not being KYC'd, they just don't win. We won't send them out, and the system doesn't allow for that. So there may be, more people who on raffle day end up winning Alpha Season passes because on this show they say maybe that they had it and they didn't have KYC, right? So the high scores list is going to be kind of re looked at. I'm going to put it that way, over and over the like week after. I think it was Alex mentioned this a couple streams ago here, but the week after the close of the alpha, so we can review the times. We can look at certain tools that we have built into the software to ensure that those are legitimate times, to ensure that those people are KYC'd, of course, and that sort of stuff. And you may see the leaderboard get kind of like re-shook up a little bit at the end. And maybe your position goes up as a result of that. We'll see what happens. Okay, let's see here. Mm-hmm. Slither Kai asking over on twitch.tv, Ogden's map, Chronal Crystals were able to be picked up before taking the quest, making the quest 0 seconds when taking it. But after a fix, people are not able to do that again. That gives early players, I'm going to rephrase that, Slither. You say early exploiters, I'm going to say early players. A 30 to 40 second advantage? How is that fair? So that's interesting because, again, that kind of comes back to the mindset of, do you take away from those players simply because they were there? You know what I mean? Like, if a person comes and they play in the experience and they find the experience to be less than desirable in their opinion, but they put in the work, right? Or maybe they liked that. Nonetheless, they put in the work, right? They were enjoying it, they were playing it, they were doing it. Do you take that away from them because they were there? Because if it's me as an individual and not me as Joe guy who works at the Sandbox game, and I go and I play an experience day one when it launches, I'm playing it and I go, hey, I found this thing. It seems like I can do this known trick, right? The equipments are laying about. I can pick them up and then get the quest. It's a known trick. We've seen it in other experiences. Then I'm going to do that. And if that gets taken away because I was there early, I would feel alienated because I was there early, right? You know what I mean? Because you'd be like, that's like saying from the dev side, well, you're not important, if that makes sense. The early adopters. You don't want to tell the early adopters that they're not important. And now, obviously, I can see it from the other side where it's like it's sort of out of reach, right? Because you are playing now instead of playing on day one, and so that can make, to a certain extent, the high scores again out of reach, and you're like, oh well, I can't get first place because I wasn't there on day one, right? And so I could see how that that opinion makes sense from your perspective, to feel like now it's unreachable or unattainable, but at the same time, this is where I'm going to go back to the thing I said a little bit earlier. In a decentralized environment, right? A space where you can make a game and you can publish it in the Sandbox game. Should you, as a developer, have complete control of your product? I think yes. If that developer happens to be included in something that is associated with our high scores list, then we could give them what's known as a best practice, right? We could take your feedback right now and say, please don't issue updates to your product in the middle of a season, because the users generally don't like that. But due to the nature of being decentralized, it is their opportunity to choose. Then they still own the experience, right? They still make the games. They still created the art, made the quests. They can still issue an update to that. So yeah, we can say you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that, but at the same time, for us to put excessive restrictions on a developer is probably not great. You know what I mean? Like, I think most people who are in our space would agree that it's not great to tell people you can't do that when we're in these spaces, right? With the exception of course, those things that violate the terms of service when you signed up. But them issuing an update to the game, there's nothing in the TOS that says you can't update your game. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that it goes both ways. So it's probably not appropriate for us to reset the times simply because you're picking alienating the early adopter versus alienating the people who are here. And if it's a here and or there, right? If somebody's going to get mad anyway, then we could just learn from it and issue those best practices and hope to see that change in season 4. I think that's the best way to look at that. All right, let's see here. See, that's and Chaldan Sa is saying what you're saying, Slither, right? And so that's saying that there's a very limited time bug that allows you to gain a whole lot of time in a very short period. You're giving an unfair advantage to a small amount of people who were there in this short time, right? So that, and it's impossible to get back without a rollback, right? And so this is again, this is a learning opportunity because we can take this, and I imagine that next season, as we are still in alpha and we're still in open development, we're still adjusting things. I imagine next season what we're going to see is there will be adjustments made to the high scores or the leaderboard. How many of those quests are there? A user suggested something that was very interesting where you could only impact the leaderboard for the first week. Somebody suggested that, right? Is that the best practice? Maybe we test something like that. Maybe we don't. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. So I'm looking through some stuff here. All right. VoxMaker Mark says, I can't play within 12 hours of game releases and miss bugs and exploits in the games that some save several minutes. So the motivation gets low. Like in Central Town, interesting points with an exploited minute and 35 seconds without exploits. 3 minutes, 35 seconds. Right. So yeah, and I guess that's another angle that is interesting about the high scores list, right? Is most people, I'm going to describe you, VoxMaker Mark, as a reasonable person, right? Not to say that the hardcore gamers are unreasonable, but a reasonable person. You're working 9 to 5, right? Like me, right? I'm playtesting these games. And I'm still not level 5 in the metaverse because I'm doing the 40 hours, right? I got stuff to do. I got to clean my house, things like that, right? But not all of us are that. Some of us, I'm thinking about myself when I was like 19 and I lived with my parents and I worked like 20 hours a week or less. I would have more time to have the opportunity on the high scores list. So I'd say one interesting thing to consider is that, maybe, and this is okay, maybe it's just not your cup of tea. Maybe it's not your thing. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we can look at the high scores list and just say, it's not for me and I'm not going to do that. Forgive me. I don't know what that, there's a very loud noise outside. Wild. I don't know what that is. All right, let's see here. How long does the alpha last after the last experience releases? How long do we have to finish? Ice Pilot X7 says. So we actually have the date listed on the website, but if we go to I think it's tickets. I know it's in the rules, but I'm trying to claim is available from November 5th, but the season ends 35 days, 20 hours, 21 minutes, 55 seconds. That is the end of the season. So once the season closes at that point, then we on our side are doing our due diligence as a sandbox game to make sure that those things are allocated to you properly, right? So we're going to go back through, We're going to close it, essentially taking a snapshot at that point. However, experiences may remain open. So once the timer ends, the timer ends. That's with respect to the high scores list. That's with respect to the season 3 rewards and that sort of stuff. But as you saw in Alpha Season 2, we kept certain experiences open. We reopened certain experiences. We patched and re-released some between seasons. So we're still going to be playing, adjusting, doing some things, and you may be able to continue to enjoy those experiences. However, as I mentioned earlier with regards to the distribution of the passes, what happens on the play map itself is something that Joe is not in direct control of. We have teams all over the world who are managing different aspects of the Sandbox game. So you saw in the last alpha, the map looked similar to this. It was about half the size in Alpha Season 2. And then after the season ended, there was like 3-4 different experiences. Sometimes they got reshuffled, moved around, placed in new locations in the metaverse itself, meaning minted 2 new lands. Excuse me. So that being said, things may adjust. So if you enjoyed a particular experience, it may not be published there for various reasons. I know that we have different seasons of content releasing very shortly after Season 3. So that may get taken down just to prep for the new season as well. But we'll see what happens as we continue forward. That's about, again, 35 days away. So you never know kind of the nature of how things can change in that time. All right, let's see here. Reading through your guys' comments a little bit. Hans Gans over on youtube.com says, sometimes I'm pissed, but I love the Sandbox. You know what? I appreciate you being here, hanging out with us. And again, I'm glad that you're still here. You know what I mean? Give the feedback. Let us know, because this season, 100%, definitely has been an improved quality over Season 2. Season 2 was much better than Season 1, right? If you went back to Season 1 right now, while we all enjoyed and had our time there, right, you might think like, oh, well, it doesn't have this feature, it doesn't have that feature. We're continuing to build and develop and make things better, larger, funner, faster. You know, like, it's great. It's great. Okay, let's see here. Diraj MK says, so that means if I'm a developer of an experience, I can create a certain shortcut to the players I know to get the best times. How will that be fair? So that's interesting, Diraj, because I wouldn't say that you could create a shortcut for the players necessarily, but when you publish into the metaverse, you're not publishing into possibly a closed space, right? Like, I can't think of the situation where that really gives an individual an advantage. You know, theoretically, if they are included in a sandbox season, right? Because it is possible that after Season 3, after Season 4, right, maybe we're seeing seasons from people like you, Diraj. Maybe you make a season of content for your lands. If you had like 5 or 6 lands, you were like, I'm going to make my own season. You totally could. That is a thing that developers are working on right now through some of our partnerships and things like that. So if you made a shortcut in your experience and then you released it and you told just your best friend, this is a shortcut in my experience, the only person who loses in that situation, Diraj, is you as a developer, right? Because users will look at your product and they'll say, I don't like what you did particularly. So that an interesting way to look at this as we continue to grow and expand is that, like, the sandbox itself, we're continuing to get more and more decentralized as a company. We're pushing product out to you. Lands, they're going out to you. You can develop on them. The partners that are out there, they're getting their own development teams together to build on sandbox lands. So the sandbox, the alpha seasons that we're doing, in the long term, will end up being less and less, I'm going to say, like, important. They're still going to be important and they're still going to offer great rewards, but we're not going to be the only ones doing it, right? If you look at the map here, you can see how big the alpha season is, right? And it's a small portion of what the Sandbox Metaverse is. So at large, you look at these big plots out here. Maybe Warner Music Group publishes an alpha like a season just like this alpha season, and they have their own rewards and they want to do that. Maybe The Walking Dead does the same thing, where they publish a bunch of games, they have their own season with their own rewards, right? It doesn't make sense for a developer to individually, any one of these, Atari, whatever, out here, to make an experience and then say, we have a shortcut that I only told my best friend. Because there's always going to be people who are paying attention to high scores, and that sort of thing, that are seeing those records. We've seen contests that go up on like Twitter, from the Meta Olympics. If you're not familiar with them, I think you are. I'm pretty sure you participated in some of those. But the Meta Olympics contests that have had like 5,000 sand as rewards or something like that. In those contests, we've had people go like, oh, well, that was, this thing was unfair, or that thing was unfair because of the way that it is run. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be up to the individual developer of how that process runs out. And then it's up to you as people, right, as players, as gamers, to see those processes and go like, well, I don't like the way that Alex and Joe are doing it in the Wizzyverse. I want to go play in the Gemini season now, right? And you're going to have so many different experiences and so many different opportunities for play to earn in these experiences that I think you're going to find that, you can pick and choose. You can be picky. You can say, I want to only go play in Bored Ape Lands. And that's going to be there at some point. And now I'm not saying, of course, that any one of those is going to have a season, but they may well. They could. The Snoop Dogg content could be a season with play to earn rewards. We'll see what happens, All right. In season 4, I want to chill and play the experiences. Enough speed running, Joe, says Chris Meister. Hey, you can do that right now. You don't have to speed run. You can have some fun. Just chill. Enjoy. You can do that right now. All right. I Am Bengali says, I hope next season a break in between is added. You want to be more specific on that? Because that could also be interesting. I think that would be, that'd be good, possibly. In the last season, we only issued new experiences on weekdays. But in this season, we've got experiences releasing over the weekend as well. Because we have so many experiences that we want to release over this period that, if we would have to release 2, 3, 4 or whatever on the same day if we didn't include the weekends. The Crypto Reaper asking over on youtube.com, how do you get KYC'd? Crypto Reaper, if you'd like to KYC, you can right now on the website at sandbox.game. All you have to do is go up here in the top right where your little avatar is, click that, click settings, and then click account verification right here. That account verification, if you are not already verified, there'll be a little button that says you can get verified right there. What I did in this process, gives you a couple different options, but I used the mobile phone option, right? And it tells you to take your phone and take a selfie. So you hold it up. There's a little circle on your screen, right? And put your face in it. And then it tells you to do that again, but like slightly further away. This is to make sure you're a human being. It'll be like a 3D picture this way. So it makes sure you're not taking a picture of a picture. And then from there, whatever your local ID is. That local ID, I took a picture of my passport in my case. It came back within like 15 minutes for me. It was really fast. Some users report a little faster, some of them reporting longer. But nonetheless, that is the process. All right. Neonka_X over on twitch.tv is asking an important question here. Do we have Alpha Pass 3 on Polygon chain instead of the Ethereum chain? So the pass itself, the NFT that is the pass, is an asset, right? An NFT asset right now, the smart contract is not converted to Polygon. So if you do win a pass, you'll have 2 different kinds of claims that you can do. The pass itself that can be claimed, it would be on the Ethereum network for now. And then the sand tokens that you have won during the season by any various means, whatever those are, right? So those sand tokens will be claimable on Polygon network. So just the reason why that is is because the Sand token smart contract is already ready. It's good to go on Polygon, right? We know the lands are good to go on Polygon, but the assets themselves and the avatars have not been migrated yet. So there will be a migration for those assets in the future. So if you want to show it off in your land, if you own one inside the metaverse and you want to put that alpha pass in there, you would be able to in the future. But right now, those assets, once again, still on Ethereum as we are moving towards the Polygon network. All right, Raykin says, so guys abuse bugs and glitches, and the sandbox will do nothing against it. Is that right? Raykin, to the extent that they actually, outside of the given tools, right? If a person tries to inject code, script, whatever, they get banned instantly. If a person tries to fake a time and send that to the high scores, they get banned instantly, right? If a person is playing inside the sandbox game and they're jumping up here, right? And they're jumping on this, and then they're jumping on a lamppost, and it saves them 3 minutes of time off of some objective, whatever that is not a bug. That is not a glitch, right? That is the way that the level was designed by the level designer. That is you, the gamer, simply being better than the developer, if that makes sense, right? You understand the tools, you understand how they work, and you know how to use them. Another good example of this is, let's go into this building here. We have all these little tiles that are poking out inside the building, right? We've got boxes over here. We can jump on the boxes. I can stand on that tile if I can do it just right, possibly, right? So now I can stand here. Is this a bug? Is it a glitch? Or is it an in-game feature, right? A developer, whoever created this experience, if standing on this was going to make their quest get done instantly, sure, speedrunners are going to find that. There's, millions of registered users in the sandbox game. Somebody's going to find the one trick, you know what I mean? They're going to figure out that you can jump up that and get to somewhere for some reason. And if they find that, then that's not a bug. That's not a glitch. That is using the game the way it is codified already, and just playing, So it's not, I think, it's not inappropriate. Like, it would be inappropriate, I should say. It would be inappropriate to ban somebody or take their time away or whatever, just because they figured out how to jump up this tower. If they can figure out how to jump up this tower using the tools that we have, it's the same tools everybody else has. All the gamers, everybody watching, can all play it in the same way. So why punish one person who knows how to use these tools to play, versus everybody else? I don't think that's appropriate. So, yeah. All right. How long will the alpha stage be? Alpha season 99 or more? Q2. Will there be, question number 2, will there be a prize for white hat game hackers? Guani over there on twitch.tv. The alpha stage, what alpha means in game development is that a product is still being built. Okay. So a product will go through an alpha stage for as long as it takes to stop putting out new features. Good use of alpha stage, usually you're seeing that for a few years, because you're still taking your community's feedback, but there are always going to be certain things that you look at and you say, that's what's known as out of scope. We can't build it in this project or something like that. So you could see in our original roadmap, our white paper that we released, we had the alpha expected to release on desktop PC, Mac PC. We got those things out there. We're still building in those clients. Then we also had the Game Maker, the Gameplay client also on mobile. And we had the Game Maker client on the consoles, right? It was kind of left as a little bit abject because that would have been further down the roadmap. And now we know, of course, there are new consoles out there. The PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series SX exist, right? Those are what I would expect to be the platforms we would try to build on. However, we need to make sure that they allow for us to publish in their ecosystems, because they may not. They may say your blockchain, or maybe we just wait a little while longer until they're ready for blockchain stuff. But second question, is there a prize for white hat game hackers? There currently is a bug bounty that exists, I believe. You have to double check the report system on the website. If it is a significant exploit, then I believe so. But also, there are going to be some that you may submit that we do already know. And typically the turnaround for development, depending on the nature, of course, of the situation. Like if you ask for a new feature in the game client today, usually that takes between 3 and 6 months to release. If you asked for, I see this glitch that's on the website, and that could take just a couple of hours to get it fixed. So depending on the nature of what it is, depends on kind of the speed of the turnaround. But yeah, I think there's a bug bounty that you can redeem. All right, let's see here. Weldon Huang over on YouTube.com says they decided to fix bugs along the way and still came up with the leaderboard idea. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Well done. Yes. Now you're leaving that comment. This is a little while ago now. I'm a little bit back, 15 minutes or so. But I want to highlight this again. I don't know if you if I was already kind of running over this when you were kind of typing that in there, but the nature of the sandbox game, the nature of cryptocurrency, the nature of blockchain, right, is that there is not necessarily one individual or entity that is in control of the whole process or the whole system, right? And we're going to continue to do that. Now, what does that mean? Well, then the bugs in these developers' games, what you would define as a bug, right? Again, the ability to climb this tower. If I could just walk straight up that tower, that might be a bug, perceived bug. A developer might see you do that. A developer might say, well, I don't really like that you did that. Being as developers, we know it's in alpha. Alpha means that it is in active development. It is malleable, it's adjustable, it's changeable, right? The sandbox game cannot and should not be an overlord necessarily. The sandbox game should not come into your experience, Weldon, when you develop it and tell you how to create in the space. So a developer is going to make some things. We can give them best practices, of course, as a quality assurance tester, like 9 to 5, right? As soon as I get off this stream, I go back and I do QA. I will play an experience, and if I see it, I'll say, like, this doesn't look good. This doesn't feel good. The flow is bad. The storyline is bad. And we will consult with people. But at the end of the day, it's still their choice on what to do, on what to build, how to build it, how to update it, all those things. It's always going to be their choice, right? And we just come through kind of as consultants, as like the experts sort of in the field, and do that. We have a dedicated person on my particular team from the Wizzyverse, right, in the council, that specifically just breaks mechanics. Not just like on a low level, like go play it and see how fast we can play it, or go play it and see, if I can glitch through a wall or something like that. But they'll specifically understanding how a mechanic is developed, built, will go break it heavily. And then say, this is everything that I found when I broke it heavily. And we learned better QA practice by watching, in some cases, these speedrunners who come through here in this alpha. And so again, it's the nature of alpha and the nature of decentralization, where we know that it can be malleable, we know that it can be tested. So when you look at, you saying it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. right? Uh, I agree as an individual gamer, right? As somebody who looks at that 30,000 sand top prize, you think like, that's a huge reward. I want that reward. Right. For sure. Absolutely. I'm with that. Me and you. But as a platform, the 1.5 million sand for the Sandbox game is one small component of a greater ecosystem where we have 3 billion total tokens in the ecosystem. So this is a reward in an alpha, and we will have more rewards and we will have more alphas. So we can reward those people who are here, and then separately from that, we can learn as a sandbox game, right? We can say we've got this 1.5 million sand, and we know like we have made it firm that we will ban people who are trying to inject fake times. We will ban people who are trying to manipulate the system overtly, but we will not ban people who are playing the game, right? We're not banning people who are inside here jumping around finding fast ways to complete experiences. And then we will take that 1.5 million sand that we have distributed as a result of the high scores list and say, we paid that to learn this thing, right? So we paid 1.5 million sand to learn that people don't like it when the games are updated halfway through. And so when you do that, then we as a sandbox get to, again, go back and consult with people, but we, again, can't tell them what to do necessarily because, yes, we offer the platform, but we are a decentralized platform. You are in control of your creation in your land, even if you are included in the alpha. So we can give them best practice and say, hey, please don't update in the middle of the season or whatever. But they ultimately get to choose. So, all right, let's see here. Trying to make sure I get as many questions as possible without skipping one. BZ Tone has a nice comment saying, no offense, it's fine with me with all the bugs. Yeah. But it's like knowing the shortcut rather than playing the game itself to enjoy the game. And I think that's interesting, BZ, because that's a really good point. I tell people all the time, and lots of people have told me, like, Joe, you're an idiot, right, for saying this. But I'm going to say it again. We do not have to play these experiences just to beat some high scores list. You know what I mean? You don't have to play these experiences just to hit up on a leaderboard. It's fun. It's interesting. It's its own thing, right? If that is your style and you want to play on the leaderboard and you want to like try to earn the sand that is in the leaderboard, great. You get it. You know what I mean? But for me personally, Joe is not actively competing on the leaderboard. I'm looking at my level. You can see on the screen here. I'm level 5, 57 out of 100 EP. I could have easily gotten over that, right? But I'm going to go to work. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to come in, enjoy, play these experiences, have fun with them. Just have fun with them for what they are, you know? And not just push and grind and do all those sorts of things in the leaderboard space. So I'm just going to enjoy them and go forward from there. Let's see here. PandaPops 90 in the chat mentioning that the team is also working on people who might turn their internet off to try to get 0 time. This will not be counted. All right, let's see here. Astarvelia asking, Joe, what do you think about the possibility of the top players in the leaderboard having multiple accounts KYC'd by other people, but they're the one playing it? So, you know, the nature of the contest is that we will only allow that you as an individual can register your one account. I guess I'm going to look at it from a human perspective. I'm going to try to humanize this as much as possible. We will, to the extent that we know that a person is running multi-accounts, something like that, be removing them. they would get banned. When you are KYC'd, if you are banned, your KYC is gone forever. So it's not a good idea. You don't want to be trying to do multi-accounting or things like that. That said, enforcement of that is interesting because, you know, if you and your brother, let's assume, because I don't have a brother, but you know, if we're two guys, we're hanging out, we're playing some video games together, and we know, you know, like we're really close, right? If we're playing video games together and we're both competing against each other, we're probably very similar in skill. I would say if you're, you know, if you've had family, you know what I'm talking about. You guys, you play fighting games against each other or something, and like it gets real close. All these combats get real close. So if you're really close in skill and you're both KYC'd and you're like 19 and 20 and you're hanging out at mom's house or whatever, and you're just playing these games, you might see something and go, oh, hey, do it this way, it's faster and whatever, and like you're working together and you're doing that speed run community, but you're just doing it for fun against your brother, right? How do we as the Sandbox game in real application tell the difference between you and your brother playing in your local network and you playing with your mom's account or whatever, you know, that you KYC? So what we would do in this case is it is possible, if it's clear, it's obviously possible for us to ban, right? But to a certain extent, we do also have to recognize that maybe you have one PC in your house, because there are lots and lots of people all over the world, right, who have asked this exact question. I have one PC, but it's just me and my dad. You know, and we're gonna play. If you have one PC, we don't want to discount you and go like, well, you only had one PC, so you couldn't possibly be two different people playing the game on one PC, right? And so we can't discount that. We have to allow for humanity to exist, if that makes sense. Allow for those situations all over the world that will be true and will be real, to continue to play. So again, I would stress probably that you don't necessarily overthink it and assume, you know, if it's like PandaPops in the chat where they have PandaPops and PandaPops 2, neither one of which of course gets to win rewards, but this is a great example, then cool, yeah, that's obvious, right? Joe 1 and Joe 2, you're out of here, you know, you're a hacker. Not really, but you know what I mean. That's a joke that I like to make. But you're trying to exploit the system, you're going to get removed from that system. All right, let's see here. Shaolin Curator says, where can I find the streaming schedule? The Twitch streaming schedule almost never matches. That's probably my fault, Shaolin. I changed the time of the GMAE show to now, which used to be my time. It used to be 8 p.m. start. But now that, you know, my wife is at work and my daughter is at school at this time, this is a much better time for me to be able to do things without the chance of interruption, quite frankly. And I get to work at a normal human time, starting up at 9 a.m. my local time, as you know, doing the normal 9 to 5 thing instead of like working all day and then taking a little break and then starting up again at night. Downside, of course, from my personal feelings is that we get less opportunity for those people in the Asia Pacific region. I'd like to see, you know, a new time slot open up for them, but hopefully we've got some streamers over in, you know, Korea, Japan, what have you. I know we have some Australian streamers in the community, at least, that can help be there for them. So let's see here. Raykin saying, why fix the exploits, or why does the devs fix bugs / glitches and people who are working or are too slow to get to it are left out, so they are in disadvantage? So yeah, Raykin, I think this again comes back to, and this was submitted about, you know, 10 minutes ago almost now, but it comes back to the decentralization, right? As long as blockchain wants to maintain a decentralized mindset, and the Sandbox does want to do that. We don't want to have control over you and your space and your creations. Then it's always going to be then the developers themselves that get to make these choices. Do you, Raykin, when you make an experience, want, you know, obviously you have a preference. You probably wouldn't issue an update but not everybody has a preference. Not everybody has an understanding, that sort of thing. So they're all going to I want to sit now. I'm going to sit with everybody else. Everybody's sitting. You're going to want to design it in a certain way. Yeah. So let's see here. A lot of people ask it. PandaPops a question. PandaPops, you're in the hot seat. All right, Chorizo Trading saying, I hope 0.7.5 gets released soon. There would be a new patch. I'm not sure if it's going to get released today, but I saw a bug fix. Let's see if I can check. I don't know if I can. I mean, I don't know that I could say anything, say it out loud, but a new update. Formal update. Currently the website. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not quite ready, but I see some conversation going back and forth, including literally 9 minutes ago. So, yeah. Make sure that you are still using the version 0.7.4, but it looks like the patchwork that they were doing there, they were working on it across the weekend a little bit. I can see the thread is quite long for the conversation. So let's see here. I want to make sure I don't miss too much, but also trying to catch up with you in the chat so I can get that in real time. My wife and I play on the same PC, and it's clear 2 different people are playing. All you need to do is look at the time. She's a lot better than me, says Lucas is right in the chat. That's pretty funny. Joe decided to change the stream time to 9 a.m. Yeah, I did have an issue. I don't know, you guys, for those people who don't know me personally, or don't follow me on Twitter, I wanted to change the stream time to like 9 in the morning, right? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna stream at 9, and then I had gotten in a car wreck recently. They had to total my car. And a pre-existing thing. I have like I forget what they call it, like sciatic, whatever. Essentially, like if I twist too much like this, right, while I'm seated, I'll get like significant sharp pains, like somebody stabbed me in my leg. So it's not a lot of fun. And then I got in a car wreck. And it was like, hey, yo, we're going to make that worse. so yeah. All right. Also, it's not 5 a.m. It's very pleasant. Thanks. Vitefo. It's glad to hear. I noticed that. All right. So Hans Gahn's asking, will I get banned now because I found a way to run dialogues during the quest? No, I don't think so. But you may have those times reset. I'm not fully in charge of that process, so you want to make sure that if you have issues with that, just know that you may have to redo those quests in the future. All right. One PC problem is solved by KYC. One customer has to use their KYC on one account. If I am correct, that is correct. Donatas. Can I also answer the question about contests? Somebody says, Shaolin Curator saying, why are all the alpha passes sent to one wallet? There's not a single winner in 2, 3, 4 weeks. Shaolin Creator, that wallet itself is the Sandbox game controlled wallet, intentionally so. So the reason why you would want to do that as a company, especially in blockchain, a lot of people don't think about like the accounting side of things. But if we transfer all those assets into one wallet, when you transfer them into one wallet, immediately you say, this is us giving those to the community, right? And they had an assessed value, those passes, at the time that they were transferred, which was $0.00. Accounting wise, they were worthless, but we transferred those to the community. And then from that wallet, the smart contract will have a distribution set up so that when you click claim, you can take them from there to you and approve that transfer. And we don't have to worry about certain expenses that may have come up, if that makes sense. It's important as a business operator. You want to make sure that you do things in the most effective and legal way that you possibly can for, managing your business, dollars and cents, right? And then we can use the funds that we save by doing it the right way and put it back into the ecosystem, hire more people, do things like that. So don't worry that they haven't been distributed yet, because you don't actually need those passes until realistically the actual last day. The raffle day is the day where you would need to have that pass distributed. And maybe not even, I guess, in that case, you just need to be whitelisted, which is an industry term for being on an approval list, so that you can click the claim button to get the sand tokens and the pass itself. And you could get those on the same day. You could get those after distribution ends, even. Like, you don't have to claim it immediately. You just need to be on the list itself. All right, here. Kaizoku Warlord saying, how about the gems quest in the World of Women? Some people got it done in 2 to 3 seconds there, and it's not possible after the new updates. Can we remove that one out from the leaderboard? So Kaizoku, again, I'm going to hit this because this is a question that's going to come up a lot. I guarantee you. For the rest of this alpha, it's going to come up a lot. And the question is, when you, well, from the one side, the team that's in charge of the World of Women stuff, right? Whatever company is creating it for World of Women, and I don't know off the top of my head, when they issue an update, is it appropriate? Do you think it's appropriate for the Sandbox game to tell them that they cannot do anything, whatever that is? Do you think it's appropriate for me to tell you you're not allowed to do stuff with your land? I would say no. I know that the sandbox is a culture, right? We want to be decentralized, meaning that there's not one formal controller for all of the things. The sandbox facilitates servers, of course. We facilitate the tools to build, yes, but we don't want to say you can or you can't do a thing, right? So the individual developer now has a choice to do that. From the sandbox side, to remove that out from the leaderboard, you also go the other way, Kaizoku. If you, as Kaizoku, were one of the people who were there in the first couple of days or whenever, before the update, in that experience, if you were that person who got that done in a few seconds, wouldn't you be upset if I came in later and took your time out, right? So the question that we have to ask ourselves as the platform who's managing the leaderboard, do we take your times away and frustrate a whole bunch of community over here that was an early adopter, that was here all the time, right? Committed and going, right? I think not. I think that the best practice here, and this is my opinion, I'm one of like over 300 people who work here. So my opinion, maybe it doesn't matter at all. But I think that, yeah, I like that you said in a little bush there. I think that when you are looking at an Alpha Season 4 as the Sandbox game, maybe we rethink and retool the way that the leaderboard works a little bit. Maybe we say that an experience only affects the leaderboard for 3 or 4 days. Maybe a week. I don't know. Just spitballing here, just thinking out loud. But that's an opportunity. And then what will happen, probably, Kaizoku, is that if we do that, then we at least guarantee that people who give up halfway through the season, they can't get to the top of the leaderboard. Well, that was their choice, right? But that would actually make problems like what you're suffering now worse, right? So is that the best solution, or is that just another option? Because you're talking about now, it's possible after new updates, or that it's not possible after new updates. That means that you showed up late. So in the idea I just had, if you showed up on day 7, you might be like, well, that's not fair. I don't get to go play the Edge of the Abyss experience for, points toward the leaderboard now because I wasn't there every day. So, there's always 2 different like groups. The one thing that I can say is that from what I can tell, just playing all the experiences, just getting the EP is enough to get you in the top 10,000 right now. I think. I could be wrong, but last I checked, when I was still like able to keep up with all of the things and I didn't have a bunch of QAs and stuff to do, when I didn't get my back hurt, things like that. But yeah, just doing it got you in 10,000, meaning just playing and enjoying the experiences. You could play them as slow as you want, and you were still getting in 10,000 the last time I checked. So, all right. Anyway, let's see here. Question. Marco Galvano asking here, what's wrong with Alpha Pass distribution? I think I answered that just a second ago, but hopefully PandaPops saying they will all be sent out. Some are going today. They didn't send any after the 8th as they're waiting until after the merge. Okay. Panda saying, can you make sure to mention the thingies I put in general? Sure. All right. The World of Women Quest event to be completed before September 27th at 1 p.m. UTC. This is at medium.com/sandbox-game. Let me see if I can go there for you, Panda, because all those links don't go to me directly. So, I mean, they do, but they go to a different computer. All right, let's see here. We got the POC Avatar Gated Sand giveaway. POC Avatar event ends the 29th of September, 1 p.m. UTC. Holding a POC Avatar grants you early access to the POC Valley of Belonging. Doing any one quest will give you a share of 200,000 sand tokens split between all players who complete those quests in the Valley of Belonging. This is separate from the rewards that you've seen in the high scores list. And I don't have this up on the screen here. I got the Thunderbirds VoxEdit contest. Yeah, you still got that. I'm going to definitely mention that here for it. Thank you. And is that the last one? This is the last piece here. There we go. The on-chain monkey VoxEdit results were announced today on the Monday, the 26th of September. So go check those out. I think those are going to be over on Twitter, right? Did we put it up on Twitter, Panda? There we go. Yeah. Check below for a thread in the top 10. Congratulations. Number 1 at metaguma_voxel. Asset name Monkey Jack. Loves a skateboard and enjoys going to new worlds. That is a cute little monkey skateboarder. Look at that. This is created in VoxEdit. Look at you. So cute. Nice design, you know, good animation for that character as well. All right, let's see here. Captain Mayo. Mayo means good and well in our dialect. Oh. Turn the ship into like a mecha person. That's pretty cool. Little tiny little cute little dude up top there. Oh man, that's cool. All right. Number 3, OUZH. Ouch. Alpin. Did I do that? Ouch. Alpin. All right. Created the coolest monkey in my mind with 3 heads and 6 arms. Omnipotent, kind, and brave is the embodiment of justice. This is my childhood superhero. Oh. Huh. Like a little mecha monkey. Oh, this is really cool. Good design. Good art. Looks like it might have different combat styles. Good art. Man, you guys are getting so good at this. Legit. All these being created in VoxEdit. Asset software, totally free. This contest submitted. People are winning thousands of sand in rewards. Let me see here. POC avatar giveaway. Enter before the 28th. This is in sandbox.game/en/season/contests. So let's go over here. I'm going to go to there. Panda's giving me notes in the mid. Thank you, Panda. This is at the events tab here. You can see there is a find a hidden room in the WoW Tower and take a picture of it. If you haven't already done these are good for you to get a chance to win an Alpha Season Pass as well. We got the gated sand giveaway with shared rewards, 200,000 for the POCs. They're on here. All sorts of different challenges. So keep checking this events tab as well. If you're looking at alternative ways to win sand, win passes, win NFTs, got Omnimorphs giveaway right now as well. Got Steve Aoki avatar holders can enter a gated NFT giveaway. Lots of different opportunities right now in the events tab. Thank you, Panda, for helping me out with that one. I'm going to scroll on down here. All right, Dad Moore says, question, if I buy an Alpha Pass, can I still win one? Yes, because you would not have your address necessarily whitelisted or put on an approval list as a result of having one that you own. All right, let's see here. Marco Galvano says, if I want to pass from a partner giveaway, do I still have a chance to win on the weekly contest for an Alpha Pass? Marco, I don't think so, actually, because partners are going to come back to us and say, these are our approved, right? As a user mentioned earlier, the passes themselves come from one origination wallet that we have predefined as the Sandbox game. So when the partners do giveaways, it's effectively the same as when Joe does a giveaway, right? Because we're all going to report that to the same person in charge of that. All right, let's see here. Marco's saying, can you drop some beans on when Alpha Season 4 might be? I'm going to tell you, Marco, I can't, but that makes me laugh. That makes me laugh, right? 35 days left in the season. We were joking about it right before Alpha Season 3 started. When Season 4? That question is going to be my most popular question as soon as the season closes. Absolutely. Or like that last stream, when Season 4? There are other kinds of seasons that could possibly exist as well. As I mentioned before, partner seasons could be a thing. So maybe Season 4 isn't the highest priority. Maybe you'll find something from another individual on the map there, right? Another team, group, company that releases some sort of season of content as well. It's going to be a lot of stuff coming through. Somebody says, will they give bans for an internet bug? Abdulan. Bans may be issued for those things that aren't playing the game inside the client. If you're not just playing in here and you're using external softwares or external features, those things can make you subject to ban from the leaderboard. All right. So don't, sort of the same thing applied. I'm thinking about, for whatever reason, Halo. If you're familiar with Halo, right? Old school Halo, people used to do this thing called a lag switch, where they would interrupt their internet connection intermittently, so their character would across the screen and you couldn't get shot, right? That got them banned there. If you're using the internet service itself as a way to exploit your experience, then yes, that could subject you to a ban, because it's an external thing. It's not like you're just playing in the game and running around and jumping on a particular thing or whatever like everyone else can do. You're doing something that is exploitative, truly exploitative. All right, let's see here. Guanling, good night. All right, when can I see Alpha Pass 3 in claim? If I got an email 3 weeks ago and don't see them in the claim, anyway, I got it. Or no, Max Strike, if you got the email saying that you would be able to claim it, you will be able to claim it in the future. I'm noticing what time it is now, and somebody's asking, are we going to do a giveaway of an Alpha Pass? We will, and I should. Give me just a second. I didn't realize we were going so late. We have a lot of questions. I skipped like a whole bunch of questions in the middle, so forgive me if I did. Of course, you can always get those questions that I cannot answer live answered over in our official Discord. You can click in the comments or in the description below the video, has a link to our official Discord, Telegram, Twitter may be able to offer support. Usually people tag me in things. Sometimes I can answer those too. But yeah, you can always get those answered in our Discord. We got lots of support down over there. Lots of people who can help there. So let me see. This one is for the Wizzy hat, and this one is for the Alpha Pass. So let me make a copy of that. And yeah. What's the 26th? Here we go. Copy. And I'm going to make a Wizzy giveaway as well. And I'm going to release those both at the same time, separate forms to fill out if you could. I feel low energy, chat. I feel low energy today. I gotta breathe. It's very hard to do this alone. Yeah, have you noticed? Kaizu Warlord says, hurry up, Joe. Joseph has 15 minutes remaining. Oh, it's a Monday, chat. Oh my gosh, chat. I have 15 minutes because PandaPops is going to go live. So you could get another chance to win an Alpha Pass by hanging out, coming back right here on this channel. If you aren't already following, make sure you are. And I just posted a link in the chat over on twitch.tv and youtube.com. If you're watching live, you can join there. Fill out this form. This is your chance to win an Alpha Season 3 pass. That pass would unlock the very top row of the rewards section for you, allowing you to have a total amount of rewards up to 500 total sand if you unlock all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels of Alpha Season 3 rewards. Fill out the form for your chance. It says it's closed. Chat's blowing me up. You're right. It's closed. I fixed. Just running through my chat. Just running through my thing. We got it. We fixed it. Chat. Forgive me. I can't believe. I can't believe. Can't believe I've done this. I can't believe I've done this. Speedrunning in forms too. I got you. Forms going out. Thank you for the help. Jazzwolf, PandaPops, helping out. Putting that link out there again. I got it. I got you. I'm sorry. I failed you, Alex. I was halfway in between, like, the Batman Alfred, I failed you thing, and, like, the Star Wars. Right there in my brain. I only have 15 minutes, chat, so I can't even wait. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to make another form go out in the chat. This one, I promise you can fill out. So if you already filled out the first one, the second one is for a Wizzy-themed NFT. This Wizzy-themed NFT is a purple hat that you can wear inside any combat-based experience in the Sandbox game. And in the future, you'll be able to wear it in the Sandbox social hubs in a coming update. That's right. Got some confirmation on that. Of course, we've talked about it before, but got both forms out there. The first form, the one that starts with YTLUE, that is for the Alpha Season Pass. The second form is for the Wizzy-themed NFT. So make sure you fill out both of those for your chances to win. Wizzy-themed NFTs get sent out by Alex Florez, usually every other week or so, as he is, again, a super busy dude, but he created the original art for the Care Bears, the Smurfs. He created the art for, of course, the Wizzies with you. This hat is inspired by and created in theme with a wizard that was created by you guys and Alex together on a stream like this one on a Saturday, some nearly 3 years ago now. Wow, time flies. PandaPops, nobody told me that it was you. I just thought about my logical conclusions. Who has control of this? And unless it was Lucas is right, who hasn't chatted for some time, of course it was you. Why wouldn't it be you? I am Lucas. Lucas would not say I am Lucas. You're funny. You're funny. I like you. Good job. I am Bengali saying, do we need to KYC for the Wizzy asset? You do not. You do not, because that is an asset that goes from Alex Florez to you and not from the Sandbox game. You do not have to KYC for that. Just hanging out, chat. Do you have any questions while we're waiting here? We got just a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to shut these forms down. Maybe not even a couple of minutes. I don't know. I'm stressed. Panda made me stressed out. 184 responses so far to that alpha giveaway form. 189 now. 192. Oh, yeah, you guys are still filling it out. We got 282 people in the chat, so I don't want to, I don't want to go crazy. I don't want to shut it down too soon and have people being like, what are you doing? All right. Dolipa over on Twitch saying, I hope that at the end of the season, everything goes well. I think that it will, And at the end of the day, it will continue to go well, right? because we're going to take the feedback that you guys leave at the end of the season and throughout the season and continue to iterate, continue to adjust things, change them, work on them, come back with season 4 with some, new cool thing that inevitably will probably be broken in some way because it's brand new. You know what I mean? That's the nature of alphas. That's the nature of open development of software. We are not done. We are just building these new features. So of course they're going to release, and there's going to be some small thing that's going to be a hitch in the system, and we'll work on it. We'll continue to develop and make it better each and every day as we are doing this with development teams all over the world. We're going to do this. It's going to be fun. Going to have a good time. Enjoy it. All right, let's see here. Let's hope, fingers crossed, says Raykin. Okay, we got 238 chat. I'm going to close down the Alpha Pass form now. I'm leaving the Wizzy form while I roll the Alpha Pass form. Okay. So if you're wondering, it didn't work. Hey, I closed the Alpha Pass form. So if you got it in, you got it in. 245 responses on that. 245. Clicking generate user number 31. And if you're the 1 to 2 people who said you did not KYC, you cannot win. So make sure you go get KYC'd over on the website at sandbox.game in order to win the Alpha Pass. All right, you got to be clicking the top right, your little avatar icon there. Click settings, click account verification, and get yourself verified so that you can win an Alpha Pass, because there's a pretty big prize on the end of that. If you go back there on the rewards section, this could be up to 500 sand in total prizes for those people who win that Alpha Pass. User number 31. This saying which experience they're liking the most in Alpha Season 3. They said the World of Women experience. Over on twitch.tv, Sandboxer27 is our winner of the Alpha Season 3 pass from this show. We're going to give away another one during PandaPops show. PandaPops show starting up in 25 minutes. So if you want to hang out, stick around, you have another opportunity to win today. So hang out. What's up, Sandboxer? I see you in the chat. Okay. Let me close down that Wizzy form now. We got 162 responses to that. So 164 closed it out, and 2 more came in just right as I clicked that button. So maybe I get lucky. We got 164. It'd be fun if I could roll one of those late numbers. Click generate user number 47 on that form. Okay, user number 47. And this, they are following the Sandbox on Twitter. They are liking Lululand the most in Alpha Season 3. Watching over on Twitcheroo, according to them. Username, Astarvelia. I had a great question earlier today. Ends up being the one I rolled. Congratulations. That is the Wizzy hat that will be going to your account once again. Sometimes it takes about a week or 2 for Alex to send it out directly to you. But congratulations, Astarvelia. And once again, chat, if you're watching, and this is your first time watching, or maybe you don't know, we have a VoxEdit asset creation live stream coming up at 11 a.m. my local time, which is about 40, and that's not true, 15 minutes. 20 minutes? Math. What am I doing? 25. It's 25 minutes from now. My brain was like, no, yes, no, no, yes, no. 25 minutes from now. So make sure you click the like button or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Subscribe, follow, something. Go get a sandwich, come back, get yourself a soda, a drink, some juice. I don't know, water. Maybe you're healthy. I had water. I don't have it anymore. Chat, it's been my pleasure to hang out with you here today. We didn't actually get a chance to play the experience because you guys had so many good questions. I'm gonna have to go play the Edge of the Abyss now, chat. Thank you for hanging out, having fun, playing these video games. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you same time tomorrow. Maybe we'll be able to play the experience. Anyway, I appreciate you all. Blow it up.